Okay, guys, I'm actually live now, which is interesting because I played the whole intro and it was supposed to go live. So I'm not sure where it cut off or if it did in fact cut off or what's going on. So we will start the story over again. Good morning, everyone. Not sure where that kind of got off. I thought I played my intro, but who knows what was going on, you know, those mornings when you wake up and you're like, "I am firing on 5 of 6 cylinders. I am feeling the best." So I've been talking here for about 10 minutes and it's not been on the thing. I was so proud of myself for starting, in theory, my Discord and being able to pin it up there and doing something way out of my comfort zone, which I will let you guys know, at the end of the show. But, you get a little too full of your britches. You think you maybe have everything going on in your life that's going right. And God humbles you just a tiny bit, or at least my internet connection does. But our first story is that Timothy, look, I am not sure how call him Timothy Omelet. I'm sure it's Chalmet or something, Frenchy, but I call him Omelet. I I need people to explain to me, these new male stars. I don't get them. Gen Z, explain to me why you want a guy who can't even grow a mustache as a leading heartthrob. I mean, he's all of 92 pounds. Now, I may be an I may just like to stay with the classics, but give me Jake Ryan from 16 Candles any day, and I am happy. Chalamet, thank you. Shalom D. I don't get the appeal. I don't get the appeal. But apparently he broke, the world, New York, and, everyone's sanity by showing up at a lookalike contest in New York City. Chaos erupted when Timothy Chalamet, joined a lookalike contest in Manhattan on Sunday as cops busted up the event. The Hollywood heartthrob? Question mark. Now, to me, a heartthrob is someone who can, like, carry you through a fire, and, you know, or, have an explosion behind him and not look back, that famous pose while carrying you out of the fire. Timothy looks like I would be carrying his behind out of the fire and his emotional support animal. So, look, I don't get the appeal. I like men that I don't look like I have to carry out of a fire, but that's neither here nor there. The shaggy-haired Dune and Wonka star, 28, stunned throngs in the Washington Square Park when he popped up in the middle of one contestant posing for cameras, then began to sign autographs for the thrilled crowd. Chalamet's appearance came as a couple of NYPD cops and City Parks Department enforcement agents tried to break up the crowd of several hundred people, saying it was an unlawful gathering without a permit. I'm kind of with the NYC or the NYPD at this point. I'm like, why are we worshiping this guy? But again, he's not my cup of tea. And, I don't, if he is your cup of tea, that is totally okay. I just don't get it. So here are all the wannabe Wonkas, I guess. I look, I am so happy to be closer to Get Off My Lawn stage than trying to remember who all these teeny bop stars are. You guys, you have no idea. The lack of awareness of who's supposed to be a heartthrob anymore is just freeing. A shaggy-haired Chalamet doppelganger was arrested and handcuffed by cops during the mayhem, prompting the crowd to chant, "Let him go." One Willy Wonka lookalike who was taken into custody, an NYPD rep said, more than a dozen in the group then moved to the nearby Mercer playground after the crowd was dispersed, where more than half a dozen remaining, doppelgangers launched into speed dating rounds with female admirers. Well, there you go. You can find love. I really don't. I mean, he has a very feminine face to me. Maybe that's just me. just not appealing. Give me, Ryan Cav or, Cavill any day. I don't know what I expected, to be honest. Not this, but it's fun, said a woman named Gwen who attended the event with two friends. I was like, either a million people are going to show up or no one's going to show up. Her friend Andy called the Chalamet Fest camp. You know, it was the first picture of Timothy with the event poster, Andy said, and I was like, if he shows up, I have to go. The unusual contest was announced earlier this month and carried a $50 prize for the best lookalike. The organizers also said the winner would receive a $250 trophy. Partfully, an online RSVP company sponsored the event. The top prize went to Miles Mitchell, a 21-year-old Staten Island resident and student at Seton Hall University. There you go. I would buy chocolate to give it to everyone. Mitchell then told the Post, I thought it would be a fun, interactive thing. I dress up. It's in Washington Park, so there's always like crazy stuff that goes there. When asked about the chaos at the event, he said, it was really hectic, but I guess it wasn't surprising since so many people were there. The Staten Islander was one of two finalists with another Georgia resident who said he would have taken his girlfriend on a date if he won. Atin Moot, the 24-year-old runner-up, recently moved to the Big Apple and said it was all worth it in the end. What better way to get acquainted with New York, Moot quipped. Chalamet is also known for the movie Call Me By Your Name as Kyle Jenner's rumored beau. I don't get it. I really don't, but it is news. The Menendez brothers. Now, look, if you enjoy rocking the bald head, I just think that it draws attention to your Manson lamps. There you go. Have fun with that. I just don't know that this is going to work out well for you. The Menendez brothers built a green space in prison, and it's modeled on this Norwegian idea. I will say I am glad that they have given, or at least tried to better the prison environment, better themselves while they were at prison. But they show more. There's nothing wrong with bald men. He just looks even more creepy to me being bald. It seems like a choice one wouldn't make if they were trying to get out and pretend and say they were gonna be a really good, model of society. If my general look at this is the one with hair seems semi-normal, still has a bit of the dead soulless eyes going on, but, they're smiling a little bit, and this guy just creeps me out. Grow some hair. But I will say in a sharp contrast to both, Sarah Boone, Suzanne Smith, and a lot of people that we have read about, at least these two gentlemen worked on, you know, bettering themselves, even if it is for a cynical reason of trying to get out, trying to look better, they still helped other people's lives. Nearly 30 years after they killed their parents, Eric and Lyle Menendez launched a beautification project in the California prison where they're serving life sentences. Their project was inspired by the Norwegian approach to incarceration that believes rehabilitation in humane prisons surrounded by nature leads to successful reintegration into society, even for those who have committed terrible crimes. Norway is a long, narrow country in Europe running about 1,100 miles from north to south. It has set up small prisons across the country, which allows people to serve their sentences close to home, said Christine Mejland, a Norwegian associate professor of sociology at the University of Agder in Kristiansand. The entire country has about 3,000 people in prison, he said, putting Norway's per capita incarceration rate at roughly one-tenth of that of the United States. Norway has some of the world's lowest levels of recidivism. Government statistics give a proportion of people reconvicted within 2 years of release in 2020 as 16%, with the figure falling each year. Meanwhile, the U.S. Department of Justice survey carried out over a decade found that 66% of people released from state prisons in 24 states were rearrested within 3 years, and most of them were incarcerated again. Now, Mechelen said of Norway's incarceration system is based on principles that people should be treated decently by well trained and decent staff and have opportunities for meaningful activities during the day, something he called the principle of normality, and that they should retain their basic rights. Mechland, who also researched punishments in prison, said that, for instance, prisoners in Norway retain the right to vote and access services such as libraries, healthcare, education delivered by same providers working in the wider community. I will definitely look deeper into this. I've seen a lot of vitriol kind of going on both sides just through Twitter. Some people think that they were, spoiled little rich boys, and some people definitely believe the abuse allegations. I also think it's a bit ridiculous to try to model all of our systems on Norway when it's a generally homogenized population, a smaller country, and that they have less crimes. So I think that while we could bring some of the, maybe implement some of the meaningful work, meaningful skills that you could learn in prison, I think we have a lot of different variables that would make this a little bit difficult, more difficult to achieve in our country. Squaw Bob, I will have to look in the case. I know my mom watched it religiously, but I was a little young and had not yet learned that my true love was true crime. So this might be a fun case to kind of look into. I'll have to see if it was televised or if portions of it were, because all I remember distinctly was their defense attorney having like the ramen noodle poodle perm. I could be wrong. It could have been another thing because I know Marsha, what's her face from the O.J. Simpson trial, also had the poodly permy look. So I definitely will have to look at it. I plan to today either today or tomorrow, depending on how quickly I'm getting caught up with the Delphi, but most likely tomorrow to go through the family court letters that Sarah sent during the alimony kind of phase to that. And I think that there's probably a nuanced approach. I think that there's probably a nuanced approach and probably things that I could learn by going after it, and actually looking at it. You guys, we had Delphi and we had Sarah Boone, and I am finally feeling like, oh, this week I get to do some stuff. Uh, so I can definitely look into that. I do think that this is a really good idea. I think that we should start adding some, tangible things that inmates can do to better their lives around there. I have been impressed with, the stray cat program, with the animal training program. And I think when you talk to prisoners that are allowed to do these things, where they learn a skill, where they learn a meaningful thing to do, you see the pride, you see the investment and, the self-worth that they gain from this, and I wish they could do more of this for other people. So, I don't know a lot about the case, I will not lie. I will definitely dig into it. I did set a Discord up, so I will set up a channel or, for things you want me to look into, and I can definitely start making a list on those. But I don't have enough info to tell you one way or the other kind of how I feel about this. But I do think that we should definitely work on making our prisons a place where you can learn a skill. I know we have vocational stuff in some prisons, but I don't have the big brained answers. It's a Monday, y'all. Uh, in other news, if you are looking and have, a spare $1.5 million in your couch or your pockets, you too can buy the infamous duct tape banana, you know, wall insulation piece, because apparently if you have that much money, why not buy a gross corroded banana on duct taped on a wall? The art world's gone bananas 5 years after its creation. This installment could catch $1.5 million. 5 years after its creation, Maurizio Catalan's quote unquote comedian consisting of a banana duct taped to a wall could fetch an eye-popping 1.5 million when it's auctioned off by Sotheby's in New York City next month. However, what you actually get for the staggering sum is not the original banana. The art lover who makes the winning bid on Comedian can expect Catalan to come and install the fruity artwork in their home. Instead, they'll receive a certificate of authenticity giving them the right to show the work and detailed instructions about how to display it. Plus, they'll get a new banana and a roll of duct tape. You have got to be joking me. Someone is going to buy this and they could have sent that 1.5 million to me. I'd have done a lot of dumb stuff with it. The infamous artwork peeled back the pretentiousness of the creative industry when it initially unveiled at the Art Basel Miami in 2019. It fiercely divided viewers at Florida Art Fair before making global headlines and even appearing on the cover of the Post. Quote, daring to redefine what art can be, Matricio Catalan's comedian became one of the most talked about sensations of the art world, Sotheby's David Calprin told the Post, adding that the work, quote, continues to capture the zeitgeist. The zeitgeist of what? Stupidity? But dumb people will take money and call it art? Do what now? Catalan initially created 3 editions of Comedian for the Art Basel Miami, buying 3 bananas for less than a buck at a local grocery store. 2 of the works subsequently stole for a staggering $120,000, while a third was donated to the Guggenheim Museum. Now, the Comedian, which will feature a fresh banana and a new roll of duct tape, is going on a global tour, being exhibited at Sotheby's galleries around the world before auctioning in New York City on November 20th. So if you've got an extra mil and you want to buy a banana and some duct tape, thank you so much, Squad Bob, for gifting 5 memberships. And those went to Disney Nerd 85, Tosh, M169, Hospice Jess, and Good as 10. Congratulations. Welcome to the Church of Mo. And thank you so much, Squad Bob. I do have my tags are supposed to be in today. So if you guys don't know, I am both ADHD but too type A to function. So you have no idea how anxious it's been making me to just write these down on a post-it note, because I also may have a little bit of chaos gremlin in me. So post-it notes do not stay where they're supposed to be. This revolutionary work of art will spark imagination and provoke debate when it tours the world in our galleries, with the public having a chance to once again witness the artist's magic. This looks like something Griffin, my youngest, most feral, would do in order to save the last banana for himself. This does not look like art. Art critics have stressed that the physical representation of the comedian is not itself a work of art, instead, saying the piece poses questions about ideas of what it actually constitutes art. Sounds like smart people trying to make a banana duct taped on a wall into something. So there you go, guys. If you'd like to burn a cool 1.5 million, or you can create this at home using your own duct tape and, banana. And apparently here's the guy. I mean, this guy's a genius. He duct taped a banana to the wall and has gotten a gajillion dollars. Don't hate the player, hate the game. This man knew the game. I love this. Oh, I'm sorry, Tamara. Hopefully hopefully you'll get a break. I know being a caregiver is extremely hard, and I thank you so much for doing it for your mom. I know it can burn you out and it can just make you so incredibly tired. So I hope you do get to go out. Yes, you aren't getting the banana, the original banana. You're getting a new banana and a new roll of duct tape and complex instructions on how to tape your banana to the wall, because who wouldn't want to tape a banana to the wall? Because what in the actual hell is going on here? In other news of sit the hell down and shut the hell up, Ruby Frankie has some words of wisdom for you because I want to listen to this heifer tell me anything about motherhood. But apparently she's decided to open her big old yap, so let's see what she has to say. Child convicted child, CA, mommy blogger Ruby Frankie's daughter warns parents about posting pictures of kids online. I don't wanna hear anything from this family. I really don't. You spent years, Ruby Frankie, on your little pedestal like you were set right next to the right foot of Jesus, telling every single mother how we were doing stuff wrong while you were abusing your children, setting impossible standards, making a six-year-old go hungry because she didn't pack her own lunch. You absolute jerk face. I don't want anyone in this family telling me what to do. The eldest daughter of Ruby Franke, the Utah parenting blogger convicted of CA in February, what is sounding warning to parents who post video and of their children on blogs. Frankie, a 46 or 41-year-old mother of six, and her friend Jody Hildebrand, a 54-year-old mother of two, ran a joint parenting and lifestyle YouTubing channel called Connections with a Big Old X Classroom. In December, they both pled guilty in St. George to 4 of 6 counts of second-degree aggravated CA inflicted upon Frankie's children, or 2 of them at least. It is her daughter, but, warning people after your parents have made a giant blog and put you all out there, I get it. Okay, you are right, Jedi Jess. I'm not totally into the Frankie one. Um, she absolutely grosses me out. Thank you, Tim, for the gifted membership, and that went to Squab Bob. Congratulations and welcome to the her Church of Mo. Now, looking at it now, I see a different perspective. You are right. This is from the daughter. Excuse me. It's a Monday, is all I can say. Excuse me. Now, what I will say is I had never had the desire to be a mommy blogger or a family blogger. I don't My kids never consented or wanted to be online, in that capacity, and I would feel really gross making that choice for them. I'm not knocking other families, maybe they've had a discussion and the kids wanna do that and they've consented. I don't know. But what I do know is that when my channel gained any sort of monetization, I learned really quickly to take all, public postings of my children off because there are incredibly weird and dangerous and gross people out on the internet. I don't like the mom blogs. I especially didn't like, you know, I don't like these people that sit on their pedestal of religiosity or righteousness or whatever they decide to found ground their, thoughts in and tell every other parent they're doing something wrong. Families are individual. What works for your family and your grounding may not work for another family. What you may find as chaos, loud, and insanity works for that family. And, you might not like it. But I do agree that, children need to be protected. I mean, we saw, counting on with the Duggars, we saw a lot of this, and it doesn't look like these children are being protected from within or without their family. And it's really gross. Quote, when children become stars in their family's online content, they become child influencers, the daughter said in a statement before the Utah House of Representatives on October 16th. It's more than just filming your family life and putting it online. It's a full-time job with employees, business credit cards, managers, and marketing strategies. The difference between family vlogging and normal business, however, is that the employees are all children. Children from before they're born to the day they turn 18 have become stars of a family business on YouTube, Instagram, or other social media platforms. Prior to Connections Classroom, Frankie ran her own parenting vlog or video blog on social media called Eight Passengers, representing herself and her husband and their eight children. Wouldn't it be 10 passengers then? No, it would be 6 passengers or 6 kids and do mathing. Sherry noted that Utah is a hot spot for family content due to the state's culture surrounding, the LDS church, noting that the goal of their church is to share that culture with the world. Quote, we have large families, which makes family content more lucrative, Sherry noted. Specifically, many parents film their regular family life as online video blog or call it vlogging. But I want it to be clear that there is never a good reason for posting your children online for fame or money. Frankie teamed up with Hildebrandt, a former Lee licensed, therapist in 2022, and the pair started, their own parenting vlog on YouTube, often saying together that Hildebrandt's multi-million-dollar home in St. George are staying with her with Frankie's children. They also hosted conferences throughout the country aimed at giving parenting advice for those having trouble disciplining their children. Sherry said that her mother's blog became the primary source of income for her household, but sometimes the money that her mom's blogging work brought to the table was used as a bribe. For example, we'd be awarded or rewarded $100 or a shopping trip if we filmed a particularly embarrassing moment or exciting event, Sherry explained. Other times, simply going on vacation was expected to be a payment enough because most kids don't go on regular expensive vacations or trips. Never mind the fact that child labor is actually what paid for the vacation or trip. There's no law in place to guarantee that child influencers get any money from their work. She has since been calling on Utah lawmakers to consider implementing certain protections for child influencers. I do believe that California has worked on legislation requiring that children in family vlogs and things like that do receive a portion of their money. I am not quite sure where that is, but I did see an article about that. Uh, and I will be adding Modi people and stuff like that to the Discord as soon as I figure out how to do that. I You guys, I am trying to get things done on my to-do list. Whether I do them correctly or well is always a struggle, especially with tech. In 2023, two pals and business partners were arrested for abusing Frankie's two youngest children, a 9-year-old girl and a 12-year-old boy. Some of the abuse occurred in Hildebrandt's home. Now, I'm not gonna go into all of the graphic details of what happened. It looks like this particular, daughter of hers is oh, thank you so much, Shalom D. I will probably do that tomorrow. I am trying to catch up on all the housework I have been avoiding and remaking Mr. Mo a pot of the soup I made him yesterday. It was all going perfectly. Mr. Mo wanted to help, and he accidentally, because I told him put a can of evaporated milk in there. He did not know that there is a difference between evaporated milk and, sweetened condensed milk, and if you're making a savory soup, it does kind of well, you do kinda need to have the right one. And thank you, Tim, for gifting a membership, and that went to Susan B. So congratulations and welcome to the Church of Mo. So I am trying to diligently get him another batch of soup to go in because he was definitely trying to help. And, poor guy, he was looking forward to the soup all day. And since it's in the crock pot, a tip for people that don't know if you like to use a crock pot to make soup, so I was doing a low carb, twist on the zuppa de Toscana from, Olive Garden. So you use cauliflower instead of potatoes, and you still get all the, sausage in there, and he doesn't like the kale in there, so I generally omit it, but I'll put a bunch of kale in there, bacon, a bunch of cauliflower, and things like that, and at the end regular milk, if you put it in a crock pot or a slow cook soup, uh, it will kind of curdle on you. Evaporated milk doesn't do that. So if you do have a recipe that calls for, a kind of a milk product, I use evaporated milk. That's my tip. I've had too many soups that I've ruined. So there you go. No, yeah, kale, not tails. So Sherry does look this is the daughter of Ruby Franke, looks like, she has a book that is coming out, House of My Mother, on January 7th. So I am hoping that, that works out. She is also speaking out against the premiere of a Lifetime movie about her mother titled Mormon Mom Gone Wrong. So, you know, I think it would be hard to have an infamous mother. I can only imagine how, the children are coping. I do hope that they are getting all the support and care they need. And if I could talk to them as a kiddo for a minute, and they probably don't watch this, but to anyone who needs to hear this, you don't have to forgive until you're ready and if you're ready. I know your mom's gonna come at you with, "I am so sorry, this is terrible, that's that." If you're not ready to forgive her, she needs to be okay with that, and everyone else needs to be okay with that. I hope they are not rushing these children to forgive her because it's part of some faith tenet. As the world's worst Christian, I think this is just my opinion on it. Until you're ready to full-throatedly give an apology, it's a lie. It's a lie. You don't feel it. You're saying it to make someone feel better. If you don't feel it, you don't have to say that, in my book. So, kids, if you're still angry, if you're still upset, if you're still pissed off, then that is fine. Grieve, be pissed, and do whatever you need to do for however long you need to do it. Your mom screwed the hell up. And she's not entitled to you just, throwing out an apology because she feels the big sad. And I hope they're not being encouraged to do that because that will piss me off. Because I hate that, in certain families and certain faiths, yes, forgiveness is important, but redemption is important too. And until you show me that you have redeemed and atoned, then you don't just get an automatic forgiveness. Not in my book. Again, probably the wrong thing that a religious person would tell you, but I have already told you, you know, you have to feel all those feelings, and it's gonna eat you up. Sarah Boone's, I believe it's the 2nd of December at 1:30. Well, if can't make it for the banana post, you don't have an extra 1.5 mil, you can get a picture of a bunch of nude behinds on a bridge. I'm sure the prints won't be as expensive. New York artist Spencer Tunick shoots mass nude photo on a iconic Story Bridge. Now, y'all, those are your delicate bits all pressed on some pavement. That is a no-go for me. Thousands of men and women have stripped naked on Brisbane's iconic Story Bridge to be part of a dramatic art shoot. New York artist Spencer Tunick orchestrated the remarkable sight with thousands of bare bottomed people strolling through Brisbane before posting on the bridge. The event formed part of the Melt Festival, which celebrates queer and LGBT culture. The New York-based contemporary artist Spencer Tunick is seeking volunteers for a monumental installation on his return to Brisbane in the 2024 as part of inaugural Melt, the city's mayor's new festival celebrating queer art and culture, the website stated in preparation for the peculiar site. The installation for Melt will take place across Brisbane's iconic Story Bridge on Sunday, the 27th of October. Oh, that's a hell of a lot of naked people. That's a bunch of nakedness, and they're all squeezed in there. That is, That would be a no-go for Mo, and it's not so much the nudity, but it's the amount of people. Because 'cause I'd be the one that has a little gap, like, "I need a 5 feet bubble." The bridge will be closed for this art event, which will feature thousands of live nude figures in celebration of diversity, equity, inclusion, and Brisbane's vibrant LGBTQIA+ community. Photos from Sunday's show the bridge was packed to the brim with naked bodies. In one shoot, everyone crouches over on all fours with ooh. In another one, everyone lies flat on their backs with their arms flat beside them. The story bridge shot follows Tunic's mass nude photos at other iconic landmarks, including Bondi Beach and the Sydney Opera House. Brisbane Powerhouse is hosting Tunic's exhibition called Tide, showing his long career in photographing mass nudes. Mass nudes? Probably. She will probably she will either go one of 2 ways. So this is where I see Sarah going. Sarah will either quickly go into anonymity, be kind of smacked down by the prison culture in general, since she will be in a full prison, or she is going to continue to make an ass out of herself. She is going to be loud, she is going to place appeals, she is going to place flyers for lawyers for appeals. I don't know which has happened. I'm leaning more towards she will just continue to write letters and get diminishing returns because no one cares, or she will go quietly into the night. I don't know why. I mean, I guess it's a good job if you can get mass nudes to be, your art endeavor. It's pavement and your naked behind hole and lady bits and man bits are all on the pavement. That's a no-go for me. And I guess someone wasn't told no very often because this, you know, alleged unaliver, and I'm going to rule entitled jerkface, murdered his entire family of 6 for refusing to let him sleep over at his girlfriend's house. And of course, it is from Indiana. Jurors convicted a young Indiana man for murdering his entire family amid a spat over him leaving home without permission. Raymond Ronald Lee Childs III, then 17, was charged as an adult. His first trial ended in a mistrial after a witness asked him why he committed the act. The second trial ended with jurors finding him guilty in Marion County of 6 counts of murder, 1 count of attempted murder, and 1 count of carrying a handgun without a license. Sentencing is set for January 7th, 2025. That attempted murder charge is regarding his youngest brother, the sole survivor of the January 24th, 2021 tragedy. That teenager managed to escape with gunshot wounds to the leg and arm, leading investigators to find the murder scene on Adams Street. There, they found 6 slain victims: Kelsey Childs, 42, Raymond Childs, 42, Elijah Childs, 18, Rita Childs, 13, Kira Hawkins, 19, Kira's unborn son, identified by authorities as baby boy Hawkins. Authorities have said the shooting happened amidst a spat over whether Childs III could stay the night at his girlfriend's home. Childs III's girlfriend said at the time that the defendant's father called him to return home. He did, but later came back to his girlfriend's residence with 2 bags of clothes, claiming his father had kicked him out. Childs III feigned ignorance when the girlfriend got an alert half an hour later of there being a shooting on Adams Street where his family lived. The surviving brother detailed to authorities his vantage point on what happened at the home. He said that their father asked him to put some water in a bottle, so he went into a bathroom to fill it up. From the probable cause affidavit, at that point he heard 2 gunshots. His father got out of bed, ran to the stairs, and said, "What was that?" Then he heard his sister, Rita Childs, say, "Raymond shot Elijah." Another gunshot went off, and he heard his dad say, "I'm sorry, Raymond, I love you." So I'm guessing that they're going to throw the entire book at him. I cannot imagine any instance where this is the way that you deal with this, um, I just can't imagine annihilating your whole family because your parents told you no. I don't know how your brain works about that. I don't know, well, it isn't said that he got the firearm from the home. I have not followed this case, so I don't know if he got it from his home or from somewhere else from the street. So I am not sure that this was, from the home, but I can't imagine this. And that poor brother that has to live being the, you know, sole surviving victim, I can't imagine, and goodness, I hope he is getting all the support and all the love, from the surrounding community, from the family he has left, from his friends, from his tribe, because I can't imagine the guilt I would live with and the loss. And with the holidays coming up, I know it's just got to be an extra bit of heartbreak. Uh, let's go marshals. The search intensifies, not intensifies, but intensifies in Oregon for a fugitive charged with luring a child and escaping capture across multiple states. This would be the gentleman, and can I say, like this blonde wig, everything else, no. And you're a gross human being if you're trying to lure children away from stuff. So this is the picture. If you see him, obviously don't approach him. Don't, try to get in his face. You know, call the cops, call the marshals, call, the local people to come get him. Authorities in Oregon are searching for an alleged male, predator who escaped capture in Idaho and is potentially dressing as a woman. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office in Oregon announced on Saturday that Christian Burt Fisher, 42, is wanted in Florida for traveling to meet a minor after using a computer to lure a child. Officials say Fisher has ties in Southern Oregon and is on the run after eluding capture by police in Coeur d'Alene on Tuesday, October 22nd. On the second day of Fisher's trial in Hernando County, Florida, the U.S. Marshals Service said he failed to appear in court and immediately fled the state the same day. Investigators learned that he had fled to California, Oregon, and most recently to northern Idaho. Authorities say that Fisher has been utilizing fictitious names and is likely utilizing cash and has associates pay for certain expenses while he's been on the run. In northern Idaho, the U.S. Marshals Service Greater Idaho Fugitive Task Force learned that Fisher had attempted to befriend multiple families in the area, including those with children. Hell no, let's find him. Prior to the task force's attempt to arrest Fisher, he was seen carving pumpkins at his last known location in Athol, Idaho, with an unknown family. Investigators have not been able to identify the family yet and urge the family or anyone else who has interactions with Fisher to contact the U.S. Marshals Service. Deputies describe Fisher as 5'10" and 200 pounds, white male who has blonde hair and blue-colored eyes. Before heading to Idaho, police say Fisher's was in the Portland area. His other known locations were in Ashland, Lake of the Woods, and Wolf Creek in June and July. U.S. Marshal Task Forces throughout the country have joined in the search for Fisher, including the local Pacific Northwest Violent Offender Task Force. Hernando County's Crime Stoppers in Florida is also offering up $5,000 in reward or information leading directly to Fisher's arrest. Yeah, who is letting this, rando dude in with their family to carve pumpkins? That's a no. That's a hell no. Look, he has some sinister ass looking eyes. I am not doing this. No, I don't know you. You're not getting around my kids. We're not carving pumpkins together. I'm not taking you on a hayride. No. Well, I didn't know this was a thing, but apparently it is Halloween and bat beauty contests are afoot, which I didn't know was even a thing, but okay. Apparently you get to pick from these lovely, horrifying, terrifying creatures. I know they serve a purpose. I know they serve a purpose, but they are still creepy AF when you catch them on your, like, deck or in your house. Just just no. No, bats need to stay the hell away from me, and I'll be okay. Move over Fat Bear Week, a bat beauty contest is now stepping up to the plate. The Bureau of Land Management has hosted the online competition since 2019 to raise awareness about the animal's ecological importance. The federal agency posts photos of bats on its Facebook and Instagram accounts, then asks people to vote for the cutest one. Bats are part of wild populations living on public lands and are photographed by agency staff. The first round of voting began on Thursday and pitted a Townsend big-eared bat named Sir Flapsalot from Utah against a hoary bat, fittingly named Hoary Potter from Oregon. The contest coincides with the start of Bat Week, during which bat experts from across the country and the world host educational events celebrating the only flying mammal. The defining feature of the Townsend's big-eared bat is unsurprisingly its ears, which can reach the length of 1.5 inches. The large ears funnel sound into the ear canal, providing lift during flight and help with temperature regulation. The land or the BLM, said in its Facebook post. Now, BLM should have to change their name because I always think of the disparate BLM, mostly peaceful and all such. S Bureau of Land Management, not BLM, the other one. Uh, Hoary bats, meanwhile, are known for swift flight and wrapping themselves in their own tail to mimic leaves to hide from predators, the agency said. Due to this attribute, it is estimated Hoary Potter would be the perfect candidate for seeker on this year's Quidditch team, referring to the game in Harry Potter that's played on flying brooms. Neither species are federally listed as endangered. However, Oregon has included um, them on the species of needing conservation attention, and Utah has done the same for the Townsend big-eared bat. Emma Blusk, the BLM wildlife technician who photographed Hoary Potter, said bats around the world play a key role in the environment by eating insects and pollinating flowers and fruits, but they're increasingly facing threats of habitat loss, disease, and light pollution. They're often misunderstood as scary disease carriers. There's a lot of fears and misconceptions around bats, she said, noting that people often associate them with rabies, but less than 1% of all bat populations actually carry rabies, and the bat to human disease transmission is actually really low. Yeah, I still don't want one as a pet, ma'am. If one flies towards my hair, I will shriek like a little girl and run faster than Usain Bolt. I am not kidding you. Busk is rooting for Hoary Potter in the hopes that Oregon Bat will win the beauty contest for the third time. Last year, William Shakes ear, a female Townsend big-eared bat from Southern Oregon, whom Busk also photographed, claimed the crown, and in 2022, a canyon bat named Barbara, similarly hailing from Southern Oregon, was declared the winner. Our effort every year is to collect as much data as we can on the species in our resource area so that we know how to better protect them moving forward. The beauty contest will or include other rounds next week. Time to wrap up on Halloween next Thursday. So if you are interested in the Bat Beauty Contest, then you can go to the BLM Instagram and Facebook and vote for your favorite Bat Beauty contestant. And I guess they already have their talents listed. In what a dingleberry lowest thing in the world to do. What the F are you talking about, B? Convicted unaliver who shot a teen over Yeezy sneakers lashes out at the victim's father. What a gross and disgusting thing to do, to not only unalive someone over, shoes, but then to threaten them, in the middle of court. Minutes after a jury convicted him of murdering a teenager over Yeezy sneakers, a young man lashed out at her father for chastising him during a victim impact statement. Quote, "What the F you talking about, B?" Adrian Crosby, 23, said and jumped out of his chair, according to the Miami Herald. Prosecutors in Miami-Dade County say that Crosby and George O'Shane Walton, both 19 at the time, shot and killed Adriana Camps Laco, 18, as she and her boyfriend were trying to sell Yeezy sneakers for $930 in April 2020. According to officers, Walton confessed that the plan was for him to steal the shoes while trying them on. Crosby, however, sneaked up on Andrea and her boyfriend while the couple was sitting in the car, and he shot them, striking Andrea in the torso and grazing her boyfriend's arm. Walton was convicted in February and sentenced to life in prison for the murder. Then Crosby's turn to trial came up. Jurors found him guilty of first degree murder, attempted first degree murder, and attempted robbery. Andrea's father, Alexander Camps, addressed the defendant in a victim impact statement. Quote, "There is no forgiveness on this earth for animals like you," end quote, the man said, according to the Miami ABC affiliate WPLG, also saying, quote, "There is only one place animals like you belong, and that's prison for the rest of your life," end quote. No lies detected. But according to the Herald, Cosby lashed out after Camps blamed the murder in part on Cosby's upbringing. The outlet described a half a dozen law enforcement officers subduing him. He was taken away with a 20-minute stop in sentencing. In addition to a life sentence for the murder, Crosby must serve a 25-year concurrent sentence. Because no one will take my Snake Island idea seriously. And yes, if you decide to shoot someone for shoes, something has gone deeply wrong for you with you. Now, do I always think it's the family upbringing? No, I do not. Some families are great and they have that one person that just cannot follow the flippin' rules. It's not always the parents, it's not always your tragedy, but something in you thinks you have the license to do these jackassery things and get away with it or get a slap on the wrist. And, it is the victim's impact statement. He's allowed to say what he wants as long as he doesn't call you a festering boil on the butt, taint, or, fart hole of humanity, because that's what I would have done. I would have said, "You only provide extra CO2, and in my world, we would protect climate change by losing you." But I'm not there, and I didn't say that. So, it is really, really upsetting when these people go off when they are finally facing consequences. In our final story this morning, well, not all kittens are equal. A kitten brought into a German animal shelter turned out to be a wild cat. But I mean, it was a really, really cute kitten. It's super cute. I would have picked it up, not gonna lie. I would have made it my own. Its name would have been Goofus Jr. because I did have the world's best cat, before she passed away, Goofus. So I would have totally picked up, Goofus Jr. and taken her home and not realized it was, a dangerous wild cat. A seemingly orphaned or abandoned kitten, brought into an animal shelter in Germany, displayed unusually aggressive behavior that resulted in it being identified as a European wildcat. The Bergheim Animal Shelter said that the small feline was brought in by a member of the public who found it alone on a country road and became concerned by the animal's aggressive behavior and refusal to eat. The shelter's staff suspected the kitten wasn't a domestic cat at all and contacted the Rechtscheider Hof Wildlife Center, which confirmed the animal was a European wildcat, a protected wild species native to the area. The Wildlife Center said the young wildcat is being cared for along another member of its species until they're old enough to be returned to the wild. Quote, "We do our best to make their stay comfortable as possible. Every progress they make is followed here with great enthusiasm and hope," a Wildlife Center spokesperson told the Dodo. I know it's so adorable, but you guys couldn't hear it because I can't get Brave to give you guys the sound, but it was going, "Arr." It was not a happy kitten. Although it is so fluffy, and such a danger cat because it's like, "It's all fluffy and cute." Jedi Jess, absolutely. If not friend, why friend-shaped? This this would be my problem. I'd bring home a wild dingo, like, "It's a puppy," or a wolf, and Mr. Mo would be like I'm like, it is gonna stay small." We just get a it's a danger flu for sure. Well, thank you guys so much for joining this morning. Hopefully, I've given you it I am not going to lie to you guys. Uh, as we get closer to the election, I am going to be finding more absurd and obscure stories. I tried to keep this not political on here, but we might have some stories where I'm doing more vamping or more, kids stories because honest to goodness, oh, you guys want to see? Okay, we can do that. Let me pull it up. We have an additional story by okay, a bat escapes a German zoo by hiding in a visitor's jacket. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. I would still be standing in a shower of Purell and getting ready to get rabies shots. I don't think they named it because it's going back in the wild, but yeah, no, I would die to death. A bat escaped from a zoo in Germany by landing on a visiting woman and hiding in her clothes until she got home. Alina Ofeli? Look, there's a little dot with the O's on it, so I don't know. 30 years old, said while she and her young son walked through the bat cave at the Karlsruhe Zoo in southwestern Germany last week, she got home and removed her jacket, and a bat fell to the floor. No, no. She contacted an animal expert and put the bat in a box with honey water and a banana overnight to keep it fed and comfortable. Her husband and her son returned the bat to the zoo the following day. A spokesperson for the zoo said the leaf nosed bat was returned to its habitat and doing fine. He said it was the first time a bat has ever escaped from the zoo by stowing away with a visitor. Yeah, no. No, 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 no. No, no, no. Like, you wanna make sure that Mo never goes to the zoo again, let me bring home a bat. Not to mention my children would not want to return it. We would suddenly have a bat mascot that I would have to take out and run to the zoo. And knowing my luck, because I've said so much BS about the Delphi team and the investigation, I'd get arrested for, attempted bat theft, even though the bat was the real aggressor. It was unintentional. Know that. Have a great day. Oh, I I know they perform a really good job for the, biodiversity and getting all the mosquitoes and stuff like that. I just I just don't even I don't like flappy bats near me. I don't want them near me. They are cool animals from afar, just don't not close. I will see you guys tonight for Nightly Newsy News. Hopefully, I will get some newsy news nuggets out today, but I will be speed listening to a bunch of Andrea Burkhart's new or reporting on the Delphi, trial thus far and trying to collate notes from all of the different YouTubers that are going there so I can kind of give you a comprehensive breakdown of week one, move on to week two. I know I am behind. So hopefully I will get that going for you guys later this week. But that's what I will be doing today. Thank you for the Shizzy Raid. Welcome, Shizzy Raiders, for this short little time as I'm doing an outro. um, I am sending you over to Ada K. She is a newer streamer or newer to me, and she is bringing you trials and make it make it accessible for people with hearing difficulties or things like that, so she works on the audio and kinda breaks things down. So, really awesome idea, really encouraging to open up trials and different things to people who may not have been able to, interact as easily as the rest of us do all the time. So give her a chance, give her a shout out. And I am going to go start listening and looking at notes and trying to clean. So, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you all tonight at 7 PM. I know everyone in Europe is on daylight savings time. Uh, my time hasn't changed. So, I don't know how your time has changed. So, adjust accordingly, even though I know you guys have told me. But math is not my mathitude. Bye, you guys.